Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, chapter 17, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his youth, text 11 onwards. Prabhu Abhishek Tape Kaila Shrivasa, Khate Vasi Prabhu Kaila Aishwarya Prakasha. Shivas Thakur then worshipped Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the process of Abhishek. Sitting on a cot, the Lord exhibited transcendental opulence. The Abhishek is a special function for the installation of the deity. In this ceremony, the deity is bathed with milk and water and then worshipped and given a change of dress. This Abhishek function was especially observed at the house of Shrivas. All the devotees, according to their means, worshipped the Lord with all kinds of paraphernalia, and the Lord gave benedictions to each devotee according to his desire. Tabe Nityananda Swarupera Agamana Prabhu ke miliya Paila Shadabhuja Darshan. After this function at the house of Srivas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu appeared, and when he met with Lord Chaitanya, he got the opportunity to see him in a six-armed form. The form of Shadbhuja, or six-armed form, Lord Goshundar, is a representation of three incarnations. The form of Lord Ramchandra is symbolized by a bow in one hand and an arrow in another. The form of Lord Krishna is symbolized by a stick and a flute, like those generally held by a cowherd boy. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is symbolized by a sannyas danda and a kamandalu, or water. So some temples have the six-armed form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and they worship him. I think there's a temple in Vrindavan also which has Shadbhuj form. Srila Nityananda Prabhu was born in the village of Ek Chakra in the district of Birubhum as the son of Padmavati and Hadai Pandit. In his childhood, he played like Balaram. When he was growing up, a sannyasi came to the house of Hadai Pandit and begged to have the Pandit's son as his brahmachari assistant. Hadai Pandit immediately agreed and delivered his son to him, although the separation was greatly shocking, so much so that Hadai lost his life after the separation. I mean, even this incident, actually Nityananda Prabhu wanted to leave the house, and because he knew very soon Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to appear and he wanted to come to Navadvip. But his father, Hadai Pandit, was so affectionate for Nityananda Prabhu, so much affection he had. He wouldn't let Nitai go out of his sight even for a second. Nitai wanted to play with his friends, and Hadai Pandit would allow him to play with his friend, but after that, no going anywhere. So this sannyasi came to Ek Chakra, and Hadai Pandit and his wife Padmavati, they served the sannyasi very much. And next day when he was going to leave, sannyasi asked, I want to ask you for something. Are you going to give me? So Hadai Pandit said, yes, Maharaj, please ask me whatever you want. He said, see, I'm going to go on pilgrimage all over India and I want an assistant. So give me your son, Nitai, as my assistant. And that was like a thunderbolt at the heart of Hadai Pandit. How can he let Nitai go? And then he remembered that how when Vishwamitra Muni came to ask for Lord Ram, and Dasharath Maharaj wasn't ready. But then later he agreed, because first he was afraid of the curse of Vishwamitra Muni, and then secondly, it was his duty. So then he asked, Hadai Pandit asked his wife Padmavati, and Padmavati said, whatever you decide, it's fine with me. So he sent Nitai with that sannyasi as his assistant. And when the villagers came to know, because they all loved Nitai, everybody loved Nitai. They all came to know, they walked with that sannyasi and Nitai. Some devotees, some villagers asked, why you're taking this Nitai? Take my son instead. Take all of our little boys from the village, but don't take Nitai. But sannyasi just took Nitai with him. And after a while, they all ran toward in the direction where the sannyasi and Nitai had gone, but they didn't find anybody. They just disappeared, basically. And after that, it is said, when Nitai was there, Nityananda Prabhu was there in Ekchakra, it was flourishing, and the crops were flourishing. It was very, very nice. And after Nitai left, the village just became deserted. Hadai Pandit and Padmavati, it is said, for 3 months, they didn't eat anything. They were just waiting for Nitai to come back. But Nityananda Prabhu did not come back. So this is what Prabhupada says, so much so that Hadai lost his life after the separation. Nityananda Prabhu traveled on many pilgrimages with the sannyasi. It is said that for many days he lived at Mathura with him, and at that time he heard about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes in Navadvip. So then he came from Mathura to Navadvip. Therefore he came down to Bengal to see the Lord. When Lord Nityanand came to Navadvip, he was a guest at the house of Nandanacharya. Understanding that Nityanand Prabhu had arrived, Lord Chaitanya sent his devotees to him, and thus there was a meeting between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu. Although that meeting wasn't that easy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent, who did he send? He sent to Shrivas Thakur and Haridas Thakur, I think. He said, there's a great personality has come, you go look for him. So they both went all over Navadvip. They asked everybody, have you seen a great personality? They said, no, we haven't seen anybody. And then Chaitanya, they came and gave the report to Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is my Nitai, he's playing games with me. So Mahaprabhu brought all the devotees from Srivasangan or his house to Nandanacharya's. It's not too far from Yogbeat. And there Nityanand Prabhu was there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. They both looked at each other and they both fell down unconscious. And the kirtan, the devotees started kirtan, then they both got up and they embraced each other. They embraced each other for a long time, because it was after a long time they had seen each other. And then they had kirtan, and Mahaprabhu then asked Nityanand Prabhu to come with him. Of course, Nityanand Prabhu, he has had, I don't know, let's see how many pastimes is mentioned here, but he had wonderful pastimes with Mother Shachi Devi, Shrivas, his wife Malini, and other devotees, especially Advaita Acharya. Prathame Shadbhuja Tare Dekhaila Ishvara Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Sharanga Venudhara. One day Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exhibited to Lord Nityanand Prabhu a 6-armed form bearing a conch shell, disc, club, lotus flower, bow, and flute. Tabe Chatur Bhuja Haila Tina Anga Vakra Dui Haste Venu Bajai Dui Shankha Chakra. Thereafter the Lord showed him his 4-armed form, standing in a 3-curved posture. With 2 hands he played upon a flute, and in the other 2 he carried a conch shell and disc. Tabe tadvibhuja keval vanshi vadana, Shama anga pita vastra vrajendra nandan. Finally, the Lord showed Nityananda Prabhu his two-armed form of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, simply playing on his flute, his bluish body dressed in yellow garments. Sri Chaitanya Mangal vividly elaborates upon this description. Tabe Nityananda Gosai Vyasa Pujan Nityananda Vesha Kaila Mushala Dhara. Nityananda Prabhu then arranged to offer Vyas Puja, worship of the spiritual master, to Lord Gaurshundar. But Lord Chaitanya carried the plow-like weapon like Mushal in the ecstasy of being Nityananda Prabhu. So this is Mushal or plow-like weapon is the favorite weapon of Balramji. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that ecstasy, he carried that plow-like weapon. By the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja of the Lord on the night of the full moon. He arranged for the Vyas Puja or Guru Puja through the agency of Srivas Thakur. Since Vyas Puja is the original Guru, spiritual master of all who follow the Vedic principles, worship of the spiritual master is called Vyas Puja. Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja and Sankirtan was going on. So, he arranged for the Vyas Puja. So the Lord, not Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was worshipped on the altar. It was Vyasadev on the altar was being worshipped. Kirtan was going on. Nityananda Prabhu arranged everything. And then he was given a garland to put on Vyasadeva. And Nityananda Prabhu was standing there in ecstasy. He was standing there. Kirtan was going on. And everybody was asking, put the garland on Vyasadeva. And Nityananda Prabhu did not. He just stood there. And Srivas Thakur again came. My dear Lord, please put the garland on Vyasadeva and carry on with the rest of the puja. And then Prabhupada says, Nityananda Prabhu arranged for the Vyas Puja and Sankirtan was going on. But when he tried to put a garland on the shoulder of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw himself in Lord Chaitanya. So he put the garland not on Vyasadeva, but on Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Mahaprabhu is the original Guru. From him comes all the knowledge. But he himself saw himself in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There is no difference between the spiritual positions of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, or Krishna and Balaram. All of them are different, but different manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. During this special ceremony, all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya could understand that there is no difference between Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu. Tabe Shachi Dekhila Ram Krishna Dui Bhai, Tabe Nistarila Prabhu Jagai Madhai. Thereafter, Mother Shachi Devi saw the brothers Krishna and Balram in the manifestation of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda. Then the Lord delivered to two brothers, Jagai and Madhai. So very, in just summary he is giving, because these pastimes are elaborately described in Chaitanya Mangal and Chaitanya Bhagavat. So, one night Shachi Devi dreamt that the deities in her house, Krishna and Balram, had taken the forms of Chaitanya and Nityananda and were fighting one another as children do to eat the Naivedya or offering to the deities. Again, beautiful pastime. Shachi Devi, she had Krishna and Balram deities in her house. So one night she dreamt that Krishna had taken the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Balramji has taken the form of Nityananda. But then Chaitanya and Nityananda were also there as Chaitanya and Nityananda. So Krishna and Balram were there and Chaitanya and Nimai and Nitai were there. And then she, as it is said, Naivedya, or offering to the deities, especially the Sandesh. So Sandesh was offered. So Nitai said to Krishna Balaram that your time is gone. You were in Dwapar Yuga. This is Kali Yuga. This is our time. This is the time of my Lord Chaitanya. So this Shandesh is for us to eat. And Krishna Balaram said, no, 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 this is for us to eat. It is offered to us. So they were fighting, all four of them, one another. Who's going to eat that Sandesh? And Nitai was saying that this is the time for Brahmins. You are Kshatriya, so you go away now. This is the time for Brahmins. We are Brahmins. We're going to eat this. And Shachi Mata seeing this, she mentioned this to Nimai or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next day. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just smiled. He said, looks like Nityanand Prabhu wants to come and have some prasadam here. So please cook something nice and I'll ask him to come. So they met at Shrivas Angan and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Nityanand Prabhu, come home for prasadam. But he said, when you come home, make sure you don't do any mischief here with Shachimata. And Nitai, what mischief? I don't do any mischiefs. I'm very serious. And he came for lunch. Shachimata was serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu. And Nityanand Prabhu, Shandesh was served and rice was, he picked up some Shandesh and he threw them away outside. And Shachimata, Nitai, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai, what you doing? Shachimata came back, there's a Sandesh. What you do? He threw it away. And then Shachimata, when she went inside, there were more Sandesh in the plate. And she was, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nitai, don't play this mischief with Shachimata. But they both had wonderful prasadam. And they said, thus Vishwambar, Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda were eating together. And Shachi Devi realized that they were none other than Krishna and Balaram. Seeing this, she fainted. And Jagai Madhai, we read about their pastime, the history or story. Jagai and Madhai were two brothers born in Navdvip in a respectable Brahmin family, who later became addicted to all kinds of sinful activities. By the order of Lord Chaitanya, both Nityanand Prabhu and Haridas Thakur used to preach the cult of Krishna consciousness door to door. In the course of such preaching, they found Jagai and Madhai, two maddened, drunken brothers, who upon seeing them began to chase them. On the next day, Madhai struck Nityanand Prabhu on the head with a piece of earthen pot, thus drawing blood. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard of this, he immediately came to the spot, ready to punish both brothers. But when the all-merciful Lord Gauranga saw Jagai's repentant behavior, he immediately embraced him. By seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face and embracing him, both the sinful brothers were at once cleansed. Thus they received initiation into the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from the Lord and were delivered. तबे सप्त प्रहर चिला प्रभु भाव वेश यथा तथा भक्त गण देखिला विशेष. After this incident, the Lord remained in an ecstatic position for 21 hours, and all the devotees saw his specific pastimes. So that's why it's called either Mahaprakash Lila or Shat Prahar Lila, 7 Prahar, so 21 hours. In the deity room, there must be a bed for the deity behind his throne. This system should immediately be introduced in all our centers. It doesn't matter whether the bed is big or small. It should be of a size the deity room can conveniently accommodate, but there must be at least a small bed. This is for when we ask the deities to come take rest at night. One day in the house of Shrivas Thakur, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sat down at the bed of Vishnu, and all the devotees worshipped him with Vedic mantras of the Purusha Shukta, beginning with Sahasra Shirsha Purusha, Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. This Veda Stuti should also be introduced, if possible, for the installations of deities. While bathing the deity, all the priests and devotees must chant this Purusha Shukta and offer the appropriate paraphernalia for worshipping the deity, such as flowers, fruits, incense, arati paraphernalia, naivedya, vastra, and ornaments. All the devotees worshipped Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this way, and the Lord remained in ecstasy for 7 prahars or 21 hours. He took this opportunity to show the devotees that he is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who is the source of all other incarnations, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. All the different forms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or Vishnu Tattva emanate from the body of Lord Krishna. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu exposed all the private desires of the devotees, and all of them became fully confident that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in this, he asked all the devotees to come. Of course, many devotees didn't want anything. All they asked for was association. When Mahaprabhu insisted, asked for something. But so many other people of Navdeep came, and somebody said, my father is not a devotee, please bless him so he becomes a devotee. My son is not a devotee, my mother is not. And Mahaprabhu just gave this benediction to everybody to become devotees. So further Prabhupada says, some devotees call this exhibition of ecstasy by the Lord Sat Prahariya Bhav, or the ecstasy of 21 hours. And others call it Mahabhav Prakash or Mahaprakash. There is a description of this Sat Prahariya Bhav in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Madhya Khanda, chapter 9, which mentions that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed a maidservant named Dukhi with the name Sukhi. He called for Kholavecha Sridhar and showed him his Mahaprakash. Then he called for Murari Gupta and showed him his feature as Lord Ramchandra, because Murari Gupta is Hanumanji himself. He offered his blessings to Haridas Thakur, and at this time, he also asked Advaita Prabhu to explain the Bhagavad Gita as it is, Gitara Satyapat, and showed special favor to him. Advaita Prabhu or Advaita Acharya to explain the Bhagavad Gita as it is. So what had happened? One day, Advaita Acharya, although he is Mahavishnu, he would, every day he would read Bhagavad Gita. And his pledge was, if he didn't understand any part of Bhagavad Gita, that day he would fast. Even Mahavishnu, can you imagine? So one day he was reading this shloka, 13th chapter, I think 13th or 15th shloka, where Krishna says, everywhere are my hands, when he is showing his Virata. Not 13th, 11th chapter, sorry. 11th chapter is a Virata. So Advaita Acharya, it is said that he did not understand exactly how it fits in. So he did not eat anything. He fasted and went to sleep without eating. Mahaprabhu came as Krishna. Krishna came in his dream, and he explained the meaning of that verse. And then he asked Advaita, get up and eat something and then sleep. And this is what Prabhupada is mentioning here, that Mahaprabhu reminded Advaita Acharya that remember that day when you went to sleep hungry, you did not understand the meaning. I came in your dream and explained to you that shloka of Bhagavad Gita. And then you ate and slept. And can you imagine, Advaita Acharya, he was in complete ecstasy, understanding that Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord Krishna himself. And he danced and he fell down unconscious. Varavesh Haila Murari Bhavane Taras Kanthe Chadi Prabhu Nachilangane. One day Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu felt the ecstasy of the boar incarnation, Varaharupa, and got up on the shoulders of Murari Gupta. Thus the boat danced in Murari Gupta's courtyard. One day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to cry out, Shukar, Shukar, thus crying out for the boar incarnation of the Lord. He assumed his form as a boar incarnation and got up on the shoulders of Murari Gupta. He carried a small gadu, a small water pot with a nozzle, and thus he symbolically picked up the earth from the depths of the ocean, for this is a pastime of Lord Varahadev. So you would just come in ecstasy of different incarnations and to act accordingly. Tabe Shuklambarer Kaila Tandula Bhakshan Harer Nam Shlokera Kaila Artha Vibram. After this incident, the Lord ate raw rice given by Shuklambar Brahmachari, and it explained very elaborately the import of the Hare Nam shloka mentioned in the Brihad Naradiya Puran. So Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Ev Kevalam. Shuklambar Brahmachari resided in Navadvip on the bank of the Ganges. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstasy, he approached the Lord with a begging bag containing rice. The Lord was so pleased with this devotee that he immediately snatched the bag and began to eat the raw rice. No one forbade him, and thus he finished the entire supply of raw rice because he just gets into the ecstasy. He liked his devotee serving him, even raw rice. Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam, kalo naste 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 gatiranyata. In this age of Kali, there is no other means, no other means, no other means of self-realization than chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name, chanting the holy name of Lord Hari. Kali Kale Naam Rupe Krishna Avatar, Naam Haite Haye Sarva Jagat Nistar. In this age of Kali, the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, is the incarnation of Lord Krishna. Simply by chanting the holy name, one associates with the Lord directly. Anyone who does this is certainly delivered. Dadya lagi Hare Nama ukti tinava jada loka bujaite puna evaka. This verse repeats the word eva certainly 3 times for emphasis. And it also 3 times repeats Hare Nama, the holy name of the, just to make common people understand. To emphasize something to an ordinary person, one may repeat it 3 times, just as one might say, you must do this, you must do this, you must do this. Thus, the Brihad Naradiya Puran repeatedly emphasizes the chanting of the holy name, so that people may take it seriously and thus free themselves from the clutches of Maya. So just like if we ask any realtor, what are the 3 symptoms for a good property, or 3 characteristics? He always says location, location, location. So 3 times he would say. So 3 times means it's really important. It is a practical experience in the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world that many millions of people are factually coming to the spiritual stage of life simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra regularly according to the prescribed principles. Therefore, our request to all our students is that they daily chant at least 16 rounds of this Hare Nam Mahamantra, offenselessly following the regulative principles. Thus, their success will be assured without a doubt. This is how powerful holy name is. Kevala Shabde Punarapi Nishay Karan Jnana Yoga Tapa Karma Adi Nivaran. The use of the word Kevala, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Namev Kevalam, prohibits all other processes such as the cultivation of knowledge, practice of mystic yoga, or performance of austerities and fruitive activities. So Prabhupada says, our Krishna consciousness movement stresses the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra only, whereas those who do not know the secret of success for this age of Kali unnecessarily indulge in the cultivation of knowledge, practice of mystic yoga, or the performance of fruitive activities or useless austerities. They are simply wasting their time and misleading their followers. When we point this out very plainly to an audience, members of opposing groups become angry at us. But according to the injunctions of the Shastras, we cannot make compromises with these so-called jnanis, yogis, karmis, and tapasvis. When they say they are as good as we are, we must say that only we are good and they are not good. Of course, only Prabhupada can say that, we cannot. This is not our obstinacy, it is the injunction of the Shastras. We must not deviate from the injunctions of the Shastras. This is confirmed in the next verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is how we should be able to stress chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, but in a humble way. Anyatha je mane tar nahi kanistar, nahi 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 etina evakar. This verse clearly states that anyone who accepts any other path cannot be delivered. This is the reason for the triple repetition. Nothing else, nothing else, nothing else, which emphasizes the real process of self-realization. And how to chant? Trina haite nicha haya sada labinam, apani nirabhimani anyadibinman. To chant the holy name always, one should be humbler than the grass in the street and devoid of all desire for personal honor. But one should offer others all respectful obeisances. Taru sama sahishnuta Vaishnava kari, bharsna tadana kake kichuna bali. A devotee engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord should practice forbearance like that of a tree. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate. It is difficult. Even if rebuked or chastised, he should not say anything to others to retaliate. No retaliation. Just like a tree. Tree, if we even cut it down, burn it, it doesn't retaliate. And it still, till the end, it still keeps on giving the shade, the fruits, the flowers to anybody who comes. Katileha taru yena kichu na bulaya, shukaiya mare tabu jal na magaya. For even if one cuts a tree, it never protests. And even if it is drying up and dying, it does not ask anyone for water. This practice of forbearance, tarorapi sahishana, is very difficult. But when one actually engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, the quality of forbearance automatically develops. A person advanced in spiritual consciousness through the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra need not practice to develop it separately. For a devotee develops all good qualities simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra regularly. So this we have to see in ourselves. We have to do the introspection. Have I developed somewhat this quality of forbearance, tolerance? But we have to develop more. And the tests will be there. Big, big tests will be there. And that test is just to make sure we understand how tolerant we are and how much more we have to be. Ei mata Vaishnav kare kichu namagiva aya chitta vritti kimva shakafal khaiva. Thus, a Vaishnava should not ask anything from anyone else. If someone gives him something without being asked, he should accept it. But if nothing comes, a Vaishnava should be satisfied to eat whatever vegetables and fruits are easily available. Again, testing will be there. Definitely it will. Sada naam laiva yatha labhete santosham eita char kare bhakti dharma posham. One should strictly follow the principle of always chanting the holy name, and one should be satisfied with whatever he gets easily. Such devotional behavior solidly maintains one's devotional service. Trinadapi shunichena tarorapi saheshna anina manandena kirtanya sadati. One who thinks himself lower than the grass, who is more tolerant than a tree, and who does not expect personal honor, yet is always prepared to give all respect to others, can very easily always chant the holy name of the Lord. The grass is specifically mentioned in this verse because everyone tramples upon it, yet the grass never protests. This example indicates that a spiritual master or leader should not be proud of his position, being always humbler than an ordinary common man. He should go on preaching the cult of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay, I guess I can stop here. See if anybody has any questions or comments.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisance. The trick here is, Prabhuji, when we feel that, okay, थोड़ा सा सहिष्णु हो रहे हैं हम, तभी वहां पे टेस्ट आता है एंड हमारे सारे assumptions को धराशायी करके चला जाता है. तो it again feels नहीं, अभी बहुत जरूरत है अभी.
Yes. यही तो testing this. It will always be there.
And forgiveness, Prabhuji, आदमी forgive तो फिर भी कर सकता है, and but forget नहीं हो पाता है. And whenever we think that somebody has done bad to us, या कुछ जो बहुत दिल को hurt हो गया, तो वो चीजें even if we have forgiven them कि चलो ठीक है, हमारा ही किस्मत था, हमारा कर्मा था, but still वो याद रहता है तो वो दुख देता है अपने को. अरे अपने साथ ऐसा किया उन लोगों ने, अरे इसने ऐसा किया.
Or this is our test. This is what we have to develop. I mean, of course, Prabhupada said it develops automatically when one is chanting, but depending upon the quality of our chanting, we will have these qualities. It is difficult. Prabhupada himself said it's very difficult. Very difficult.
ये प्रभु जी जब कभी अच्छे से थोड़ा बहुत चैंटिंग हो जाती है एक राउंड या फिर एक राउंड में आधे 4-5 बीट्स अच्छे से अगर सुन लिया, तो उस दिन ये जरूर फील होता है क्या हम फालतू चीजों में बसे हुए रहते हैं, दिस दैट, इतना थोड़ा आता है रियलाइजेशन. बट एज सुन एज चैंटिंग गोज ऑन एंड लाइफ प्रोग्रेसेस बाय इन द डे, वी कम टू जीरो एंड ऑफ द डे. थोड़ा बहुत अगर रह जाए भगवान की किस्मत से तो ठीक है, नहीं तो फिर सुबह अगर हमने चैंट अच्छे से नहीं किया, कम से कम थोड़ा भी फोकस नहीं किया चैंटिंग में, तो फिर वो ड्रैग हो जाता है 2 दिन के लिए, वो चीजें 3 दिन के लिए ऐसा.
Yeah. But that is why chanting and reading proper books very, very important. Very. It keeps us on the right track. है तो सब माया का ही गेम ना, एक्चुअली तो कुछ भी नहीं है.
यस प्रभु जी.
इतनी फाइट्स, इतनी पॉलिटिक्स, बैक बाइटिंग, लेग पुलिंग, सब चलता है किस लिए? समथिंग टेम्परेरी.
आई नो. यस प्रभु जी.
और स्क्रिप्चरली अब देखें, अगर हमारे हाथ में कुछ है तो वो तो मिल ही जाएगा ना. पॉलिटिक्स करने की जरूरत है नहीं.
सही बात है.
नहीं है जो हमारे अपने, वो ये तो आएगा नहीं, आएगा चला भी जाएगा.
और उसके लिए फिर से हम कर्म ऐड भी कर देंगे अगर अननेसेसरी प्रैक्टिस किया तो.
कर्म भी ऐड करेंगे और कहीं ना कहीं तो चुकाना पड़ेगा.
सही बात है।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, एक बात और बताइए प्रभु
हरे
जी,
कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
यस अर्चना।
प्रभु जी एक चीज जस्ट पूछनी थी, जैसे टॉलरेंस अपने लिए रखनी है, अपने खुद के ऊपर कुछ किसी ने कुछ किया, मुझे कुछ कहा तो इसलिए टॉलरेंस रखनी, मतलब जो ठीक है, लेकिन अगर वही चीज किसी और के लिए, लाइक सपोज मेरी मदर को या मेरे फादर को कुछ कहा, किसी ने एग्जाम्पल कुछ कहा, बट वो टॉलरेंस वहां पे भी अप्लाई सेम वे में होनी चाहिए?
नहीं, उस केस में तो नहीं, बट स्टिल वी आर नॉट सपोज टू जस्ट फाइट, वी सपोज टू डिफेंड सीनियर्स, या नॉट फाइटिंग।
नहीं नहीं, फाइटिंग नहीं है, बट उस समय तो टॉलरेंस रखना मुझे नहीं लगता है इसमें ठीक कि तुम सिर्फ टॉलरेंस रखो जस्ट बिकॉज कि टॉलरेंस रखनी चाहिए, लेकिन आपकी आंखों के सामने आपकी कोई आपके पेरेंट्स की इंसल्ट हो रही है, दिख रहा है कोई गलत बोल रहा है, पेरेंट्स हैं या कोई फ्रेंड्स हैं या ब्रदर सिस्टर्स हैं, आप देख रहे हो ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है और आप वहाँ पे प्रेजेंट हो, एंड देन यू आर जस्ट कीपिंग शाइट एंड जस्ट बिकॉज की टॉलरेंस रखनी चाहिए, तो ये सिनेरियो में इसमें क्या मतलब हमारा अप्रोच होना चाहिए, हाउ टू डील विद दिस काइंड ऑफ सिचुएशन?
हाँ हाँ, नहीं, यस, कोई हमारे किसी की भी इंसल्ट कर रहा है या कुछ गलत काम कर रहे हैं, सपोज टू टॉलरेट दैम। तो वो यस, बट जब अपने में बात आए तो यस वी शुड टॉलरेट।
बेसिकली टॉलरेंस अपने लिए होनी चाहिए, जहाँ पे गलत दिखे वहाँ पे वी शुड नॉट टॉलरेट एक्चुअली।
या
दिस इज द थिंग ना। ओके, थैंक यू प्रभु जी।
थैंक यू। यस,
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी।
यस हरे।
हाँ प्रभु जी, मैं बहुत ही गौर से सुन रहा था नीमा माता जी को, एंड एक ख्याल आया मन में कि कपल ऑफ डेज बैक आई वाज आस्किंग माय मदर, क्योंकि वो बड़ी स्पिरिचुअल आध्यात्मिक है, बहुत कथाएं जानती है। मैंने कहा मम्मा एक चीज बताओ कि प्रभु ने जैसे इतने सारे पूतना आई, कितने सारे असुर आए और उनका वध करने के उपरांत उनको अपने में समाहित कर लिया। जैसे फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल सबरी थी, तो सबरी भी काफी राह देख रही थी राम जी की, और श्री रामचंद्र जी जब उनसे मिले तो फाइनली वो उनका भी उद्धार कर दिए। तो जो उनके जैसे आपने बताया था ना पिछली कथाओं में कि आसुरी प्रवृत्ति हो या भक्ति हो, एनी वे राउंड, बट जो आसुरी थे, जो कथाएं अब तक सुन चुके हैं, सबको प्रभु जी ने अपने में लीन कर लिया। इतनी उदारता है उनके अंदर। तो इतना कुछ करने की आवश्यकता क्या थी प्रभु जी? मतलब मेरे कहने का मतलब है, क्वेश्चन ये है कि लाइफ एंड डेथ, वन आफ्टर अनदर, एंड जैसे मैं एग्जांपल बताता हूँ कि पापा ही थे। पापा वाज वेरी आध्यात्मिक, वेरी स्पिरिचुअल, राइट, थ्रू आउट द डे। इवन लास्ट फ्यू मंथ्स ना वो केवल अपने रूम में जाके भजन कीर्तन करते थे, बट देन ही यूज्ड टू सफर फ्रॉम 40 days ही वाज ऑन बेड। तो कभी कभी ना संशय आता है, कंफ्यूजन आती है दिमाग में कि
एक
क्यों
मिनट,
इतना कुछ, क्यों इतना
म्यूट माता जी,
क्या।
कुकिंग चल रही है।
हाँ तो प्रभु जी इतना सारा क्यों, मतलब ये जो पूरा जो एक आप जैसे बना हुआ है ना, एक सिस्टम बना हुआ है, तो बनाने की जरूरत ही क्या थी? वो तो डायरेक्टली कहते कि सब मेरे वो आओ सभी, तो बिकॉज वी आर प्योर, जो स्वात्मा है वो तो प्योर सोल है, वो परमात्मा लेके और सब आनंद में रहते हैं। इतना करने की क्या आवश्यकता है? जन्म मृत्यु होता रहता है, पेन पे रहते हैं। और ये नो, अभी जैसे माता जी ने जो क्वेश्चंस किए कि जब हम संसार में आते हैं, अपने कॉन्शियस में आते हैं, व्हेन वी बिकम प्रौढ़ अवस्था में आते हैं, जवानी में, तो हम जब कॉर्पोरेट में काम करते हैं या कहीं भी सांसारिक लोगों से काफी पेन मिलता है हमें, या फिर काफी ये सारी चीजें क्यों प्रभु जी? इसकी आवश्यकता ही क्या है?
आवश्यकता ये
I,
है कि
I,
अब हम मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में हैं और जाना है वापस, तो उसके लिए वो क्वालिटीज तो चाहिए ना, ऐसे थोड़ी चले जाएंगे। अब
अब प्रभु जी
आगे हैं
पूतना के
यहाँ
अंदर
किसी
क्या।
वजह से, जिस वजह से भी आए हैं, आ तो गए हैं ना, दैट इज फॉर श्योर, हैं तो यही।
जी
whether we like it or
अच्छा,
not.
सुनने कहते हैं कि पूतना जो है वो शिशु को खा लेती थी, एंड देन मतलब वो तो जघन्य अपराध था, बट फिर भी प्रभु कान्हा ने कितनी कृपा बरसाई उनके ऊपर और आत्मा को लीन कर लिया, मतलब उनकी वो जो पूतना माता की आत्मा थी, तो
नहीं,
कहने का मतलब है
पूतना की आत्मा को लीन नहीं किया था। पूतना को तो धात्री या नर्स का दर्जा देके, मतलब यशोदा मैया की असिस्टेंट बना के भेजा था गोलोक वृंदावन। पर उसको भेजने से पहले उसको थोड़ी सी टाइम में इतना ज्यादा पेन दे दिया जब उसका स्तनपान किया था, वो प्यूरिफाई कर दिया फिर उसको। बट एनीवे, यस, पॉइंट है और प्रॉब्लम्स हैं। बट साथ साथ भगवान भी तो साथ में ही खड़े हैं ना, हेल्प करने के लिए भी तो खड़े हैं। भगवान भी हैं, साधु भी हैं, बुक्स भी हैं।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल, ये तो सपोर्टिव चीजें भी आती है, वो नहीं है प्रभु। माता तो छोड़ के चले नल है, वो तो कड़कड़ में बसे हुए हैं, तो वो एक सेटिस्फैक्शन है प्रभु की, इज ऑलवेज देयर विद अस, आवर इटर्नल मदर।
बट अब हम किसी वजह से भी अब अलग अलग फिलोसोफर्स का अलग अलग मत है, तो हम जैसे भी हम हैं तो अब मटेरियल वर्ल्ड में ना, तो निकलना तो है ही है। और है कितना टेम्परेरी, जस्ट लाइक माता जी वाज, अनिमा माता वाज सेइंग, कितना टेम्परेरी है सब कुछ। किसी सोल को, आई मीन इस जन्म में अब देखो कोई सोल है, उसको कुछ क्वालिटीज है, मे बी ही बिकम्स इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट और क्रिकेटर और मूवी और पॉलिटिकल लीडर, वो बहुत अच्छा करता है और हर तो जीव नहीं कर पाता है, but he does very good and he makes lots of money, makes lots of followers, then he dies, and then the soul, what happens to the soul? Again takes birth again in some form, some species, and not necessarily he's going to again play cricket again and do good. Whatever karmas he has done in this life, then he'll go on with that. But for that little time, whatever few years, then they say, oh, he was a great, he was a legend, or ye, or oh. Yeah, this is all temporary. But we waste our whole time and energy in all this, which is all temporary. Doesn't make sense.
बिल्कुल सही बोला प्रभु।
चलो,
एक्चुअली प्रभु जी
yes, ma'am.
मैंने सुना, मतलब शायद क्लास में ही सुना है मैंने, भागवतम में किसी पर्पट पे, कि जैसे हम कितना किस चीज से रिलेट करते रहते हैं उतना ही हमको पेन होता है। अगर हम, बहुत लोग जो होते हैं अपने आप को स्टेट लेवल पे, बहुत लोग अपने आप को कंट्री लेवल पे, बहुत फैमिली लेवल पे, तो आपका जिस लेवल पे अटैचमेंट होगा उस लेवल पे अगर आप बार बार सोचेंगे तो वो और आप अटैच्ड होते जाएंगे। और हम जितना उससे थोड़ा दूर के बारे में सोचते हैं और बड़ा, जैसे हम जब तक अपने घर तक रहते हैं, अरे घर बेस्ट चीज होता है, फिर थोड़ा सिटी घूमते हैं, अरे नहीं माई सिटी इज द बेस्ट, फिर थोड़ा स्टेट, अरे नहीं माई स्टेट इज द बेस्ट, इंडिया से बाहर जाते हैं, अरे इंडिया इंडिया एज एन होल देखा जाए इंडिया इज द बेस्ट, बट फाइनली जब पूरी दुनिया में सारे डिफरेंट कल्चर्स वी सी, देन वी सी नहीं इंटायर वर्ल्ड वसुदेव कुटुंबकम। फिर वो एक्चुअली हमारी लेवल वैसी है प्रभु जी, हम जितना देर तक इसको डिले करेंगे अपने आप का अटैचमेंट, वो एक दिन लगेगा, 2 दिन रहेगा, 4 दिन रहेगा, या फिर पूरा लाइफ लॉन्ग वो अटैचमेंट रहेगा। जितना डिटैच करते जाएंगे जल्दी जल्दी थोड़ा सा खुद को, उतना कम अपने को इम्पैक्ट होगा। अरे नहीं, हर चीज का मेरे ख्याल से शायद ऐसे ही मैंने सुना है प्रभु जी भगवत एसवी में।
हाँ, but वो डिटैचमेंट आती नहीं ना अपने से, वही तो, तभी तो कृष्ण से अटैच कर रहे हैं ना,
इसीलिए
तब
चैंटिंग, इसीलिए चैंटिंग एंड बुक्स प्रभु जी, एक्चुअली
सेवा और कृष्ण सेवा।
कृष्ण सेवा, एक्चुअली वेरी ट्रू प्रभु जी।
और कोई ऑप्शन है ही नहीं।
कुछ नहीं। एंड इनफैक्ट प्रभु जी मुझे लगता है कि इसीलिए शायद मतलब अभी जब मैं कुछ छोटे छोटे बुक्स है जो वो पढ़ रही थी, तो उसमें शायद प्रभुपाद ने ये मेंशन किया है कि हमारा ये जो है प्रेम भाव भक्ति, फिर प्रेम भक्ति विच इज द, पहले तो ब्रह्मा लेवल जाना, उसके ऊपर से फिर हम क्या भगवान को समझना, फिर उसके बाद प्रेम भक्ति आती है। तो हमारे लिए अभी ये सारे लेवल्स को समझने के लेवल पे अभी हम हैं ही नहीं। पहले तो अभी हमको ये भगवान को, सुप्रीम पर्सनालिटी ऑफ गॉडहेड समझ पाए, उनके अंदर सरेंडर कर पाए, वही हमारे लिए बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है मेरे ख्याल से।
नहीं, once we have taken up chanting, then we are gone
Yeah.
above this Brahm Jyoti and Paramatma level.
Is
So
it okay?
understanding Bhagwan is there. It's
Uh-huh.
now we are at the stage of Vedhi Sadhana Bhakti.
Vedhi sadhana bhakti. Okay. So even if we are not attentively chanting Prabhuji, even if we are not that at neophyte stage,
what did you say again? Repeat.
even if we are not attentive chanting, even if we don't know, we are at neophyte level, we are not following these.
Yeah, but still the chanting, if one is chanting, means in his previous so many lifetimes he has done everything else actually. That is when one gets to chant regularly. That's what Bhagavatam says.
Okay.
It's not that one just picks up chanting. He has done plenty of pious activities, japa, tapa, tirtha, everything he has done plenty.
It gave me a sigh of relief. नहीं
Then
प्रभु जी,
one
आपकी मुझसे
comes
सुन
to
के
the stage of pick up the beats and chant.
हरि बोल, हरि बोल।
And then from then on, yes, Vedi sadhana bhakti, then Raganuga sadhana bhakti. It's not that, well, when we study Nectar of Devotion, we'll study the detailed analysis. But these are two different paths actually, Vedi and Raganuga. It's not like we follow Vedi and we'll become Raganuga, no.
Yes.
So following Raganuga Bhakti, even if we are at very, 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 very elementary state, fine. But we are following that path.
Okay.
And again, on the path of bhakti, we do not make progress based on our chanting. We make progress by the mercy of Prabhupada.
Yes. Yeah. That is there. Without mercy, I really feel every step needs a mercy, Prabhuji, every step.
All we do is we take up or do this chanting, try to do as sincerely as we can. So we invoke the mercy. Then, like Prabhupada will say, this guy is struggling, just let me bring him back.
Very good.
And on his own, he cannot do anything. Yeah, I'm fool, I'm rascal. Prabhupada, you can only do help.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It's like discussions and everything, explanations from you is always very, very, very enlightening for me, at least. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I try. Thank you. You all have a safe and wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.